Alright, so what we have here is the Corsair Link software, and the thing I like about this most is its aesthetics. You're able to actually import a picture of your system into the software. You have floating icons that give you updated readings that you can actually put over the part that it's actually reading the temperature off of. So if I can get the icons a little bit bigger, that should be okay. And so like for my video cards, I get 50 degrees on my top card, 45 on my bottom, obviously, because all the heat is being drawn off the bottom card into the top one, so there's going to be a 5 degree difference. But it lets me at least visually see that. I'm at 25.1 degrees Celsius on my CPU, and the pump it gives me the pump speed. So, and all my fan speed, individual fan speeds for the 120, the SP120Ls. They give you presets that you can create yourself. This one is my preset called Shut Up. And this one is when I'm watching movies and stuff, like you can barely hear anything going on in the case. It's so whisper quiet. Yet my my idle to medium load temperatures, they only go up a few degrees. I'll bring up Hardware Monitor as like a backup to this. And it's, let's see, let's get to the Intel. Okay, so it's around 30 degrees, bounces between 30 to 32 degrees idle right now. And this is with the fans just about basically off. You can't hear them. So what I'll do is I'll do the next profile, which is called okay. That means everything's at kind of default. The fans will fluctuate as they need. That's for like web browsing, maybe Photoshop, things that go under load relatively quickly and then drop off. So I've done that. And then here's my last one, which is maxed out. And I'm going to be quiet for a couple seconds so you can see if you can listen to hear the fans. It's actually significantly louder than the other presets, but I obviously use this for gaming. And I do have some good clips, 250 watt 2.1 speaker system here on my PC, and it's awesome for most things. But if I want to get that real immersive 3D sound, I get like I have my Gamecom 780s that I just put on, so that fan noise doesn't end up bothering me that much anyway. But anywho, it's pretty much just an aesthetic thing. It lets you control your fans, and I know that there are power supplies, AX power supplies in the Corsair series that the fan control can even be controlled through Corsair Link. So I think it's awesome how they're expanding it. There are, however, some glitches in the system where I can't get rid of some of my older profiles that were with my FX8350, and I've scoured my computer to try to figure out where they're holding those config files to delete them and start over from scratch. And no matter what I do in regedit or reinstalling the software, it's not getting rid of it. And if anybody out there knows how to get rid of that, I would greatly appreciate it. I'm going to look into it some more, contact Corsair later in the week. But it works right now for what it is. It's working right now. So what I'm going to do is, let's see how good this thing can do under load. I'll save that. And we'll keep our hardware monitor up. And let me shrink down some stuff here so we can just isolate the temps here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to run Prime 95. And let's just see what happens. We're going to let it go for a little bit. And the temps are already going up to 49.50. And I just used the stock test. The fans, like I said, are on completely maxed out. Now you know why I call my channel maxed out. I use that term like to nauseum. I really think I do. I use it way too much. But hey, that's what it's about. But it was really scary actually with the last pump that I had when that popped. Like, you have to be really careful putting the pump in. And I would definitely advise just taking it slow, and definitely trying not to be too nervous and overwork things and muscle things in there. Try to handle it with a little bit of finesse. But overall, I had the original H100, and now the H100i. The only reason I went to the 100i, the only reason was for the Corsair Link software. And there's not a huge difference, I think, between the 100 and 100i, other than the SP120 edition. And as far as the aesthetics go, being able to change that LED. Because honestly, if I decide I want to make a different kind of custom rig that has a different color scheme, there is an enormous palette to change the color of that LED, and that just adds flair and stuff. And trust me, if you're LAN party and stuff, you want the aesthetics and all that. So I think it was just a better off purchase. That, and they changed the tubing to like a real rubber tubing, a real durable rubber tubing. The first H100 had plastic tubing, like a more rigid plastic tubing. But it's not to say that it's bad. I mean, if you can find one of those on the cheap and you don't really care about the Link software or anything like that, boy, the H100, the original one, is still absolutely amazing. So let's see, how are we doing here? This has been running, I don't know, maybe a minute or two. And under load right now, my temperatures are still 53, 54 degrees under load. Now I can tell you right now, under the FX 8350, under full load, running this test, I was in the 70s for temperature, and that was stock without it overclocked. So I'm actually kind of impressed with how this is working. I am thinking about also using this as reference later on, because I'm thinking about taking the stock paste off of the 100i and putting on IC Diamond and seeing how that might make a difference by a few degrees. Who knows? It might make a big difference. But I've been running this for like quite a while. Probably not as long as you're supposed to, but this is under a full load with Prime 95, and like I'm seeing a drop, like 51C, 50C, and then it goes up to 53. It's staying right in the 50s. It's low 50s too. It's not really going above it. So this is actually amazing. It's gone through its test 4. It's on test 4. I mean, I suppose I could get it to test 10 and see what happens, but I don't want to bore you too much with all that. But that's just, it's showing that this thing can actually work well under pressure. And again, I'm not huge into synthetics, but when it comes to CPUs and stuff like that, that particular test was actually kind of necessary, because it literally is putting the CPU under a CPU demand. And now I just shut that off, and instantly this CPU throttles and goes right back down to 31, 32. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up now going into my Gigabyte BIOS, and I'm going to be messing around with some overclock settings, and I'm going to give you some, I'm going to run those benchmarks that I ran for the last video I did. I'm going to run them again with just overclock settings for the 4770, and you can compare them to the other two settings from the other video.